I'm here with Geoff Kendrick, who is an analyst on foreign exchange. Now, we haven't seen the kind of dramatic response that many expected. What's the mood here?
Yeah, I mean, markets have been relatively orderly, actually. A few logical things did play out early during the Asian session. You saw the dollar a bit weaker against the Swiss, against yen, etc., which is quite logical in terms of FX market reaction. But since then, things have been relatively orderly. You've now had this morning, the ECB have come in and they've started to buy Italian and Spanish bonds, and so that's kind of stabilising the euro. I suspect that's probably now going to become a slightly bigger driver even than the US news over the weekend. So you might see euro dollar edge slightly higher through the week. But if stocks continue to sell off, which was the initial reaction in Asia, then that risk-off mode is sort of dollar positive. So FX market's a little bit stuck. Yeah.
Traders getting pulled both ways. Bad news coming out of the US and positive news out of Europe. They're not quite sure how to respond.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing with FX is it's always a two-sided game, and with the US now being downgraded, European peripheral concerns continuing, it's difficult to know which is the worst case out of those two. I suspect euro probably slightly higher. You should probably see sterling do a little better out of this as well, given relative to others there aren't too many concerns in this country, so perhaps cable pushes a little higher across the week as well.
And still a lot of strength in the Swiss franc, still seeing people fleeing there, looking for a safe haven.
Absolutely. I mean, euro Swiss was a bit softer, dollar Swiss as well, but that's also stabilised. The SNB last week did talk about the potential for intervention, but they haven't done anything yet, so that kind of mixes that story up as well. And relative to euro and sterling, for example, euro Swiss, which has been extremely volatile, is probably now even not quite liquid enough if we do get a true safe haven flight to quality, and so perhaps euro can do better and sterling as well.
So what are traders looking for? What would actually move the markets?
Well, tomorrow we also have the Fed, yeah? So people will now start to debate whether or not the Fed will do more easing. I suspect they won't tomorrow, but perhaps later in the month, if things continue to deteriorate, we could see Bernanke hint at QE3 as he did in last year's Jackson Hole speech. So that's a possible. So perhaps tomorrow night there'll be some slight disappointment. You could see stocks a bit lower again on the back of that. But really, given how much has been going on, markets are now kind of waiting to see where we break. And if we do, you might see a bit of follow through.
Great. Thank you very much. That was Geoff Kendrick, an analyst on foreign exchange here at Nomura.